there'd be a lot of poop in my pants. I've seen a 6-foot alligator go swinging through the air and slam into a tree.
These guys are the scientists of the supernatural, lecturers leaving lessons for inquiring laymen. They are applying the scientific method to a world that baffles science. They are the cryptids of the corn.
But who else has big black wings and red eyes?
Batman.
Oh, Mothman.
Oh yeah, Mothman.
A great white shark was stolen.
Oh, someone stole a shark?
I got stuff for you don't even know about.
She's a witch. She turned me into a newt.
Who knows? Anything could be possible. Anything could be possible.
It's really big abduction vibes.
Holy moly.
It sounds like you were abducted.
And it just stood up. I mean, it just like kept going and going. And she goes, what the?
Welcome back to Cryptids of the Corn podcast.
You sound like a vampire. Is that what you were doing?
Yeah,
Count.
The Count.
The Count. That's who it was. Yeah.
I'm the Great and Powerful Mystery.
And I am J Clone 42.
42.
On today's special episode.
That's the lucky number in Japan.
What is 7 times 6? That makes sense. Yep.
Okay, if you say so.
Mm-hmm. What?
Nothing.
Okay. All right, let's get this show on the road.
Well, I got a lot of front of house stuff because Wednesdays we do the front of house stuff. Paranormality magazines, we're the affiliates. If you use our code Corn Crew, we get a kickback from that. If you're going to buy anything from them. We have other shows because somebody said they didn't know we had other shows or we produce other shows.
Yeah, well, we have other shows. We produce another show. Yeah.
So, real quick, we have, and the links for these are all below. They've always been all below.
Yep.
Freaky Fauna Friday, which is 15 minutes to 20 minutes every Friday, where we cover a freaky animal from around the world, past, present, something like that. We have a lot of fun with that one. We also produce DW Conspiracy Shack, where Daniel and Wilbur talk about all things conspiracy, and they have a lot of fun on that show, and that's the one that we produce. So check both out. They're a lot of fun. DW Conspiracy Shack is very close to being monetizable, so if 50 of you guys go and check it out, we'd appreciate it.
Leave some reviews or something to help it boost the algorithm. And then we also got our Patreon. Our Patreon every Tuesday. We release new episodes for Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't joined the Corn Crew yet, jump
Join
in.
the Corn Cult.
Give it a preview.
It's Cryptids of the Corn /Patreon.
That's right.
P.O. Box. That is in the link, or that's down below the actual P.O. Box, but it's P.O. Box 75, Ada, Ohio, 45810 or 0.
So if you want to send us art or a nice letter.
Art, anything,
that's where you can send it.
If it's arsenic, please put Jay's name on it.
Thank you.
Merch. The merch link is below. We have t-shirts, all kinds of stuff. The winter one should be out soon. I'm waiting on the proofs to come back, and then we'll go from there. Conferences. The only one we got left is CryptidCon, which is just in actually I think a week and a half.
Riverbend.
Yeah, like a week and a half.
All right.
And that's crazy, isn't it?
Time flies when you're having fun.
Guys, CryptidCon's a good one to end on. It's an all weekend event. We have a ton of fun. We'll be down there filming early on Friday. We're just going to have a ball, so come hang out with us at CryptidCon. If you're coming, let us know. Some of you already have, which is awesome. Once again, the best way to contact us is either through social medias or preferably if you have an encounter you want us to share on the show, email is the best way, and that's cryptidsofthecorn podcast@gmail.com.
All in the show notes below.
All in the show notes below. All right, let's get to some reviews real fast.
Yeah.
This is from Glasshole Cladwell. They wrote a review in the past.
It's just that name sounded familiar.
And now they reamped their review.
Okay.
Still 5 stars. Great podcast to explore the cryptid world and all things related. I look forward to every week. I'm fairly open to new ideas, and this podcast has made me very interested on these topics. Keep it up, guys.
Thank you, Glasshole. Appreciate it.
Glasshole always makes me laugh.
That's a funny name.
Bambi. And this title is Spiders of the Congo. And they say, Spiders of the Congo is one of my favorite episodes. I'm a new listener, and I just wanted to leave a nice review.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you, Bambi.
Thank you,
appreciate
Bambi.
you.
Yeah.
EQ26 says, Great is the title. I love the perspective these guys offer on cryptactically.
I don't think that's that word.
I don't know what the word is. We argued about it beforehand.
I don't know what it means or anything, but cryptically looks like what it says.
Cryptactically. I
Yeah.
think they write like I do.
Ooh, that's rough then if they do.
All right. What's yours?
We got Alex from Massachusetts wrote, great podcast was the title. I started listening to Cryptids of the Corn back in the spring and binged all the episodes. That's crazy. Thank you. Justin and Jay have a very entertaining chemistry with one another, which leads to entertaining banter. I love the topics and the facts discussed in the episodes. I have had a lifelong interest in paranormal and cryptozoology, and this podcast has easily become one of my favorites. I drive for a living, and Cryptids of the Corn is always in my playlist. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you. No, Alex, thank you. That's an awesome long review.
Very kind. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it a lot. That's what keeps us going is these reviews.
Oh, no doubt. The kind words go a long way.
Oh yeah, more than you guys know.
Yeah, because we get a lot of negative words. We get a lot of kind words.
Yeah. Man, if he likes that banter, he should hear us after I've had a few sips of the moonshine.
Gosh.
Then it really derails.
Yeah. No, it's just you yelling at me and me getting sad.
Well, yeah, that's usually how it ends. You getting sad. You turn to a squonk.
I get sad because you just don't stop yelling at me about personal things. You bring it to a personal level.
It's when I know. It's when you know I'm serious.
That's when I know you're drunk.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
All right. So new Patreon members.
Ooh, we got new ones. All right.
Vanessa. And Vanessa's been joining us on our morning coffee show.
Yeah.
So thank you, Vanessa. And Kennard Rawling.
Hopefully you said that right.
No, I didn't say it right. There's no N.
Well, thank you.
Here, I'll let you read.
Okay.
It's not Kennard.
Okay.
Carrad
Rawlings?
Carrad?
I would say Carrad. Carrad?
Carrad? Well, thank you, Carrad.
Yeah, both of you guys. Thank you. Welcome
Vanessa.
to the Corn Cult. The Corn Crew, whatever, the cult. It's the cult.
My last thing before we get into listening to Peyton's Encounters, which I haven't even mentioned yet, is that Patreon updated without telling anybody anything. And a lot of the other big podcasts that we listen to, hang out with, follow, they had the similar issues that we are having. They added a free thing. They call it free. We don't offer anything free on Patreon.
Right.
They call it free. What it should be called is a follow.
Yeah, that's what this should be.
Because you can see us post everything, but you don't have any access to it.
Yeah.
So you can see how much we post on Patreon and stuff like, and it's daily at this point. So we have like 10 people in that free category.
Yeah.
So I wanted to let everybody know that free thing is a follow. All you can do is see that we're posting. You cannot see what we're posting.
Right, exactly.
And I know there was a lot of confusion with that and stuff like that. So just so everybody knows.
It just seems like Patreon is making everything extra difficult for everybody involved, on our end as well.
It's definitely for a lot of the audio patrons.
Yes.
That it's become a lot more difficult.
And with it kicking people off randomly. And
we'll see. So as of recording this, tomorrow's the day that we normally kicks. It's always the first of the month that kicks a whole bunch of people off and doesn't tell them.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We've had the more patrons than we've ever had right now.
And with that being said, we are also still working on our members only space, so stay tuned.
That will be coming, the app in the members only space. We will not be pushing the app until I get the members only space hammered out.
Right. So just keeping that in the loop so you guys know.
It'll be the exact same thing you get on Patreon.
Yep.
It'll just be
through our website.
Through our website, through the app.
No middleman. Just you're dealing directly with us.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
I think that's pretty much everything.
I have not listened to these.
Okay, so this was
But I trust Peyton.
Yes, this is submitted by a Patreon member, Peighton.
A good friend of the show.
Yep. She won the J Clone Lookalike contest at the
oh my gosh.
40 and Airwaves live event that we just had earlier this year.
So normally I like to listen.
Yeah.
But with Ross's and Peyton's, we're not going to listen. I didn't listen beforehand because I know we know those guys a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to sneak anything like horrible in there.
We'll find out.
I mean, Peyton could have.
All right, so here we go. This is Peyton's encounter. She submitted to us on the speaker pipe link below. It's in the show notes. If you have a story or anything.
By the time this comes out, I don't think it's active anymore.
Okay, well, if it's still there and you got a story.
I'll repay for it if people want it. You just got to message us.
There you go.
All ready?
All right, I'm ready. Let's go.
Hi, everybody. My name's Peyton. Not so long time listener. I started listening at the end of June, but I got fully caught up through July. And August, I became a Patreon member. I cannot say enough good things about Patreon. And all of the extra content and stuff that comes out on it is so much fun and it's super interesting. It is a little bit different than what you can get on like iTunes or Spotify, just because the guys get to have creative liberty without the fear of saying something that could get them in trouble. So, besides having like the Discord and the meetups, for being a Patreon member, you also get that really, really cool content. And I enjoy that a lot. So there's my little plug. But I guess now I'll get on to my ghost or not ghost encounters. Pretty much started back when I was, maybe 8 or 9. My parents' former next door neighbor had kids, one a year younger than me and one a year older than my younger brother. And so we would go over there and hang out all the time. You know, it doesn't matter when you're a different age, your neighborhood, like the neighborhood kids, those are your like best friends ever. So they were actually getting ready to move, and their dad is a contractor. So he's able to do all their house renovations and stuff on his own to be able to update, you know, their house before the sale. So he was doing like new drywall, new paint, stuff like that, getting the house ready. And we were playing upstairs in the boys' rooms. And at the time, they didn't have doors anymore because they were going to be putting new doors on, and they didn't have a door to what would be their attic. It was just like a little side, almost closet, that their dad had been putting all of like the drywall stuff in. So like the mud and like all those big gallon buckets that have the mud and stuff in it. He had them in there along with like some of his tools and stuff like step ladders, or not step ladders, big ladders, that the boys aren't able to use because they're so big, and they were like 8 and 5 at the time, 7 or 8, 5, 6 or 5 at the time. We were upstairs playing, and we decided we were going to go outside to do something. Can't really remember, but you know, the 2 younger boys, my brother and the younger neighbor boy went down first, and then the older neighbor boy, he went down, and I was going down last. And I grew up in a house where the stairs are stained wood, no carpet runners, no railing. So I was used to it because my house had the same thing. So I didn't really watch. I was used to going down the stairs at a normal fast pace, as some people would call it. But I wasn't worried about slipping because my house was the same way. The younger boys, they all went down the stairs, and I'm going down the stairs last, and it literally on my left shoulder blade on my back, it felt like 2 fingers like pushed and shoved me down the stairs by 2 fingers. And I didn't like tumble head over heels down the stairs. And I didn't slide down the stairs. I went flying to the right, and where their banister would be, I slid down that on my side, and they had a supporting beam because they had an open wall, but they had to have a support beam because it was a load bearing wall. They just decided to keep the beam there to have that open railing or non-existent railing to have an open concept in their living room. So I hit that beam on my stomach and it knocked the wind out of me. And their mom at the time was like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Like, did you go a little too fast?" And I just kind of popped up and I was really, really dazed. And I looked back up the stairs because, like, I know it wasn't their their dogs. They had a weenie dog and a golden retriever, and the dogs never really went upstairs, especially if the parents were home. They like to hang out with the parents more so than the kids. And also, a dog can't like take two fingers and like jab you in the back and push you. Normally, they take you out at the feet. But I thought it was really. I told her, yeah, yeah, I'm fine. Whatever. That was weird, and I didn't think about it for a while. Actually, for a very long time, like 15 years, till just about a couple years ago is when I started actually really deeply thinking into it. And it was because of my other encounters that I've had, at my current job. But I remember after they had moved to their new house, before they had moved out of state, we were visiting them. And I remember, all the guys were outside, the boys, my dad, their dad, they're all outside doing, whatever guys do. And my mom and I were inside with their mom, and we were like painting our nails and, drinking coffee and talking about, how they're excited to be moving and stuff like that. And I remember their mom telling my mom that that light in their attic, it was one of those sockets in the ceiling with just the light, and then it just had the tiny pull cord. It didn't have a pull cord that you could actually reach. So even her husband would have to stand on one of those buckets of mud to even reach it, to click it on. She had said, like, right before they moved, the construction stuff was one of the last things to leave because he actually needed it for work. So they wanted to leave it at the old house while they were moving all the other stuff so it didn't get lost in the mix because they moved to a farmhouse. And it was way too much stuff for him to put in his work truck, especially since he was using it to help move the other stuff. So he left all that mud in those buckets at the old house. And I remember her telling my mom that every time they would go back for a new like load of getting their boxes and clothes and stuff, that light would be on, and she knew the boys couldn't reach it, and she couldn't even reach it if she was standing on one of those tubs. So it could only be her husband, and he swears he had to turn it off like 3 or 4 times. So she was pretty sure that their house might have been haunted. Tried to contact her, could never get an answer. I'll go into my recent encounters in the third video.
All right.
What do you think?
Well, so far, I mean, it's got little elements of, the push in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, not a wiener dog jumping up and shoving her in the back. In the back.
Yeah, especially like slide down the open banister until
to hit a post. Gosh, our old house used to have it reminded me of our old house. It was the same thing. It was the stairs, and it's actually where I live now. Stairs, but ours were carpeted. And what me and my brother used to do is we'd ride a boogie board down the stairs, the carpet, and then you go flying down. The only problem was at the very end, there was just a wall where the stairs stopped because it turns like 90 degrees.
Our old stairs did the same thing.
And it also didn't have the banister, like she said. So I would do one of two things. I'd always ride on the back, and he fell for it every time. We did this hundreds of times. I'd always jump off halfway down because I didn't want to hit the wall, and I'd usually give it a little extra shove so he'd go flying into the wall, or I'd give it a little turn so he'd go flying off the side of the stairs.
Which brother?
Jeff.
Oh.
Oh man, that was good times. But the light staying on, that's kind of, I mean, you can't really, if it's one of the pull cords, which is kind of hard for that to just flick on and off by itself.
Yeah, but they're remodeling a house and open wires and stuff like that.
True, yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's what's happening, but
right. I mean,
you know, when you put on,
could be,
you got to put on the hat.
Right.
During an active remodel and stuff like that.
Yeah, things could happen.
Yeah, but I don't.
I do have, like, at the bowling alley, I have phantom machines where they'll just turn on or stay on.
I mean, you literally have poltergeist activity on recorded.
Sometimes.
I mean, with the toilet paper.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's I don't know. That could be anything.
That could be anything?
Yeah, sometimes toilet paper just unrolls.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, that wasn't caught on camera. It's just two people's reactions because we don't have a camera in the bathroom.
Oh, crap. Everybo's sitting there like, no, but you could, from the door every once in a while, it's just like.
No, yeah. But you're right on that. I've also had photos fly off the wall with, that's weird. Yeah. But anyways, back to Peyton. What do you think?
I got pushed down the stairs at our old house, and I completely forgot about that.
Did you say it felt like the two fingers
as
well?
Yeah, it felt like I got jabbed. It felt like an old lady's fingers.
I actually...
Like nails and all.
Yeah. I was stabbed, pushed you right in the back.
Yeah.
I've had that experience too when I used to work at the plastics factory, but I chalked it up to like a muscle spasm.
See, I did too. I think then I almost died on our stairs from a dryer.
Okay.
Moving a dryer, we had like a little stair sled. I don't know if you ever seen them.
Mm-mm.
So for like when you have to take dryers or washers upstairs, you can manhandle and carry them if you really want to.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But they make these little sleds that have like a little bar on them. So they balance on them and you don't slide them down. Like you don't let them slide.
Right.
But they slide down gently. They're supposed to. So I was on the underside and that bar just broke.
Really?
And the whole dryer came flying after me and crushed me against the wall.
Hey, didn't I tell you about when that happened to me with the refrigerator?
On the stairs? I don't remember that.
I think this is right before we started the show, and maybe it's the summer before. My mom and dad's refrigerator went out on them, and I sold them, and then I had a really nice big, the double wide fridge with the pull out freezer on the bottom, with the water thing installed. But I told him my mom needed a fridge, and I said, well, just have mine. I want to downgrade anyways because it was just a bit. I didn't need all that, so it was me, my dad, my brother. I know this is so off topic, but it's a good story. I'm not the biggest guy. I'm not at all. But I don't know how much one of those fridges weigh. I can tell you it was a Frigidaire with a double door with the freezer underneath with the water tank or the water dispenser attached. So however much that weighs.
25 pounds.
Yeah, probably 2,500 maybe. I don't know.
No, oh my gosh.
They're not that much.
Refrigerators are not that heavy.
It's probably like 800 pounds though.
A double door refrigerator?
I would imagine so.
They're not 800 pounds.
You don't think so?
No.
I'm going to do a weight thing after this and find out.
I'm going to guess probably 400 pounds.
Oh, it had to be heavier than that.
No, because...
Had to be heavier than that.
You think they are, but they're not.
Well, anyways,
They're awkward because their size.
I was on the bottom side going down the stairs under it, and my dad and my friend, Mitch, were on the top. For some reason, they were on the other side of the top, and we get it to the top steps, and we're inching it down the stairs, one step at a time. And just when it got over the halfway point where I had all the weight, it just went, and I couldn't, it was falling so fast, I couldn't get out of the way. I was trying to actively get out of the way and jump off the side of the stairs so there's no railing. It's those same stairs. But this thing just came all the way down. And I told you that it comes to a wall at the end. It was turned sideways, crushed me against that wall. Just crushed me. I don't know how it didn't break my hips or nothing. Because
that's what happened with me.
My hips took the whole blow of it.
Mine was the chest. I got pinched at the chest.
Oh, mine was my whole bit. It crushed me and I fell after and just laid there for about 5 minutes because I couldn't move. And then I got up and walked it off, but it sucked. I think it's maybe that's why I probably have hip problems now that I realize it. I've been to the chiropractor twice in the past 2 weeks and it still hurts.
Yeah. It's because you got like that folk medicine chiropractor.
I got
It brings like a voodoo stick out and just beats you with that.
I wish it might be. At least it would help. No, he's been helping me, but it's after a few weeks it flares up.
You ready to continue?
Yeah. So back to Peyton's.
Back to Peyton's
More
life.
paranormal. Yes.
So this is the third recording. I had tried to contact the mom just a couple weeks ago. That's why I kind of hesitated on contacting you guys, because I wanted the closure for myself. But once I started trying to broach the topic, she stopped answering me. So I'm not sure if it was a touchy subject and she just didn't want to answer, or she's a nurse, so I understand life gets busy. But I never got any closure on that. And I had asked my mom if she remembered, and she said no. My mom has had COVID a couple of different times, so she's got that really bad lasting brain fog thing. And so she gets kind of upset if she can't remember something as easily as I can. But my recent encounters are at the place I'm currently working at. It is a lock company, and they have been around since the 1700s. But this location specifically, the oldest person that's been working there, they've been there for 42 years, I believe. So everybody says, like, there's always a rumor when you start there that one of the old guys, forever ago, had a heart attack in the building. And they always say, the building's haunted, ha ha ha. If you ask. If you don't ask, nobody tells you anything. But if you talk to the lady that's been there the longest, she's one of my really close coworkers, the one that said that Jay was quite good looking, and then got really embarrassed when I told her the story. She said that nothing has happened. Nobody has, to her knowledge, passed away there. She's been there for 42 years. And it's mostly when you're on second shift. You don't get the creepy vibes when you're on first. Work's fully stocked. It's fully staffed. But when I started there, we've been there, my husband and I, for 2.5 years now, and he's on second the whole time. This year they've been flopping me back and forth between second and first, and it's a little straining. But this time last year, they would bring some first shift people that just needed a break from being around all the typical drama of a workplace, and so they'd come to second. And we make padlocks from start to finish and send them out in-house. So we clean them up and everything. So we use an industrial sanding belt and clean them. And there's four of them on two sides of like a rolling bar, not really conveyor belt, because you have to pull it yourself and the bars just help it along. There's no like motor or anything. So when there are two people, it's called polishing at the same time. One person will be on one side and the other person will be on the other side. And it's like a 10-foot of belt between the two of you. And when my coworker was on her first shift cool down and she was on second, she was working on one side and I was working on the other side. And you can see through the belt and see their feet walk back and forth. Usually when you see the feet, you look up and you can see them and tell them something like, hey, can you grab me this or can you grab me that? I'll continue on the next. All right, so I think this is part 4. Sorry if It's not. I'm really sorry, Justin. But yeah, you could see their feet, and like it's like a shadow of their feet. You could see them walking back and forth. Because on that side there's a robot that also polishes the locks. So you load it, and then you take the locks off, and then you have to walk and put them back into the trays to for them to be able to send down the line to shipping. So on the other side, you walk back and forth constantly. On my side, you would normally just sit in your chair or stand, if you would prefer, in one spot and polish, and then push the locks in the trays down the line. She had been on second for a little while. She had started getting into, crystals and, what their meanings are. And I'm kind of into that a little bit. I'm not the world's most knowledgeable crystal aficionado there is. I just like them because they're pretty and they look nice. And when the sun hits them, they sparkle. The ones that you're supposed to put in the sun, there are some that you're not supposed to because it can bleach them. I know specifically amethyst and rose quartz. I'm pretty sure the sun will bleach them. I know amethyst for sure. The purple will get leached right out of it, so don't put that in the sun. But I told her, if you start looking into this stuff and, spirituality, trying to look into the other side of things, ghosts, spirits, Ouija board stuff. I've heard that when you start looking that side, the other side can also see you, and it can notice you and acknowledge you now that you've opened yourself up, whether knowingly or not. And so I had some interesting stuff start to happen. The side on the polisher, it's like a hand, like lever to keep the side up. You would, shove it up to activate the latch, so that way it doesn't fly open. Every time I had started using that specific polisher, no matter what, like even if I checked the latch in the middle of me working or while my back was turned, it would fly open and slam. Since it opened, like the hinges on the bottom, so the whole door would fly open and slam. And it was scared the living daylights out of everyone. And I'm like, I swear, I just checked this. It wasn't loose. It wasn't, I didn't just leave it open. I checked this. I know I checked this. And they'd say, oh, well, it happens. I've seen it happen before. But every time I went over there, it kept happening. So then they were like, yeah, that's a little weird. My cousin got into crystals and stuff, and she had actually started cleansing her house and stuff because she noticed that she had started having some strange encounters, not inside her house, but she could see shadow people outside of her house, through the windows. And she got an ominous feeling of needing to protect her family really, really bad. She still has that anxiety. She cannot leave her house. She lives in Kentucky, to come to Ohio without her now husband and their son. She feels like it's not safe, no matter what she's done to her house. So she was like, hey, have you started noticing anything weird in your house? I was like, oh, not really. But for some reason we've got flies and we can't seem to get rid of them. The fly paper's not working. I don't know where they're coming from. I was telling my cousin about the flies, and we had just moved into our house, but that's why she was asking. Because in all of those paranormal shows, it takes a couple months for stuff to start happening. They draw the energy from, the batteries and electronics and stuff that you bring in, and from yourself. And it takes a little while for, spirits or apparitions to show themselves. And, we had just finally gotten settled. We moved in April of last year, and she started asking me, around August about this stuff, and I just kept thinking, well, not all the windows. Their screens are kind of janky. Some of them have holes in them. We also have cats, so maybe their cats are bumping the screens, and the flies are getting in. We don't have screen doors either, so anytime we open the door, the front or the back, stuff can just get in. We don't have that protection of the screen door keeping stuff out as well. So I was like, 15 flies a day. We had to get one of those electric like bug zapping rackets to play tennis with all these flies. And on average, my husband was killing like 15 a day for a couple of months, and we just could not figure out why. And that's when she mentioned
Man, just when it was getting good.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where we'll leave it off for this episode.
Well, let's pause it there. Let's at least discuss what she's...
Yeah, no.
Because there was a lot, right? There was 3 parts or 2.5 parts that...
We haven't discussed.
Yeah.
The work thing, the door slamming, a little bit reminds me of the Winchester house.
Or let's even rewind just to work in general. That's an old... What'd she say? Is it old company?
That's what I'm saying, the Winchester company.
Yeah.
The Winchester house, the Winchester mansion.
Oh, yeah.
That crazy lady built all that. And she said it was because the spirits of all the people that her dad's company had killed were haunting her. And they basically cursed her that the day she stopped constructing her house that she would die.
Wow.
And that's one of the theories of why she never stopped and had made all these, like, it kept adding on blueprints, because she knew the day she'd stop, she died. And I believe she did die 2 days after construction.
I wonder if she felt like there's the guilt from it and that was on her head.
I don't know either way.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then you
how
have
this stuff works.
I mean, Winchester is probably why a lot of the Native Americans aren't around anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, what if this lock company has a similar thing?
I mean, just being an old building in general with so many people coming in and out.
What sins does this company?
I don't think it holds any sins. I don't think that.
I don't know.
Would it lock someone out of their house and they couldn't get in?
There's a company that has a lock in its name that was a lock company originally.
Well, true.
That runs the world.
I about said it. I better not.
Not on this show.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That
just because it's a lock company doesn't mean it's innocent.
Well, true, but they're still just making locks. I mean, I guess, but
as far as you know.
So I worked in a factory too, but it's not this old. But weird stuff. There was some weird stuff you just see out of the corner of my eye all the time. That was the one where I said I got poked in the back, but I'm pretty sure it was muscle spasm.
I worked in the cookie factory for a long time.
Yeah.
And there was just that factory is so massive though.
Yeah.
But so empty.
Yeah.
Like there were lines have been shut down for years and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They were just like skeletons. And that factory was always had a weird feeling about it.
Just like an odd, ominous feeling, I guess.
Because you could go through a plastic curtain and then instantly be in a whole different world.
What do you mean?
Like on your side of the curtain.
Gotcha. I think you said carton at first.
No, your side of the curtain was loud, and there's people, and then you go through the other side, and it's like
just empty and
dead,
quiet.
half lights are off.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's creepy sometimes. That's how it is ours too. Though all the lights are motion activated, so if no one's in there for a while, like a certain part of the warehouse, it's just dark until you walk through. Then it lights up one by one. But and very similarly, how she was saying you could see, through the other side of the machines, like you mentioned when we were listening to that, like that's how the factory I worked at was just like that. You could see other people in there. So imagining, seeing on the other side, what you think there's this person over there and there's not. Yeah, that would freak me out a little bit. And especially it sucks like that stuff being at work. Like, I guess it's even worse being at home. But work, you're already dealing with having to work, and now you got to deal with this on top of it. Like, come on, that would be awful. I would not enjoy that very much.
Doors slamming open and all that stuff.
Yeah, keeping you on nerve the whole time you're at work. That would be awful.
And then the crystals.
Yeah. You go on about that.
I don't know.
I did like her explanation for him because it's the exact same how I am.
What?
I don't really know what, crystals mean or do and stuff like that, but I just like them because they're pretty.
See, I like crystals. I have a little crystal collection.
Yeah.
But I won't buy them from crystal shops anymore or anything like that because
Might have something attached
I think
to it.
people put things on them, but that's an opinion.
Yeah.
No, it's odd. I don't know. The crystals clearing house, and then the bugs.
Yeah, the bug thing.
We were scratching our heads trying to remember what the Indiana house, the portal to hell.
I just can't remember.
I can't remember the name of the house either.
Yeah.
But they
On the
always had
spot.
giant problems of flies.
Yeah, we had that in our house when we first. It was only a few years after we had moved in to our new house. When I was a kid growing up, the whole basement flooded with flies. My mom told us, or she made us keep the basement door closed, and we had the stuffed towels under it so the flies wouldn't come up into the house. But you'd open that door, and to how the stairs going down, it's basically like a hallway of stairs going down. That's how it is. It wasn't like open stairwell. It was drywalled on the stairwell going down. Whole walls covered with, it was white walls, but they looked black because there were so many flies. It was insane. And every now and then when I was a kid, and it was in the summer too, so mom and dad would be at work, me and my brother open the door for like 5 seconds to let some fly into the house, then we close it real fast, and then we'd hunt down and try to catch all the flies, and it was just like a fun game. It's the things you do as a kid as entertainment, but we still don't know why we had to get someone to come in and like fumigate to kill all the flies. It was just ridiculous amounts.
Demons.
I don't know what it was. It was weird.
Anything else to add for this part of Peyton's encounter? And there's like 10 more of these.
Yeah.
So I'll go through after and see
We'll figure out what's up with the audio.
That's why you should listen first, I guess.
I suppose, but then it kind of ruins the mystery.
For me, at least.
Yeah, the authentic reaction. But man, this is just getting to the juicy parts.
Good. Well,
it's a teaser,
yeah, it's a
so
tease.
stay tuned for next week. Hopefully, all the rest of the audio is good enough.
I'll check
for us to do next week, but
all
we'll
right,
find out.
I have been the Great and Powerful Mystery,
and I've been Jay Clone Jay.
We'll catch you next week with the continuation of Peyton's Encounters.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Cryptids of the Corn podcast.
Please share with a friend you think would like us. It's the best way to help our show grow.
Leave a comment, rate us, a 5-star review, and remember, there is always extra content on Patreon/cryptidsofthecorn.com.
And don't forget, stay magical.